So it's been a while. Um, yeah, it's been a while. God, is it just me? Or I just look like fucking shit? Oh God. The outer is reflecting the inner right now. God, it just makes me feel even worse looking at myself. Fucking hell. I just look wrecked. I look fucking wrecked, man. I didn't sleep well last night because these stupid fucking workmen are playing loud music in the garden. They're doing work for a neighbour. I actually got in an argument with them this morning. I said, look, I'm not sleeping well, and you're making it really hard for me because, well, I was more aggressive than that. I was basically telling your fucking shitty music down. You know, it's fucking annoying. No one wants to listen to it. And you're in a garden. He was like, oh, don't you listen to the radio? I'm like, yeah, inside my house I listen to music. But I won't blast it in the garden because I know that not everyone wants to hear it and they could still be asleep. So, yeah, that's probably why, oh God, I feel so tired and I look so tired. I'm already not happy with my appearance already, and now I'm even less happy with it. But even worse than that is how I feel. I mean, you can choose to look in the mirror or not look in the mirror, but when you feel like shit, you can't really get away from it. You know, I just feel like shit. It's just been the reason why I haven't made a video for a while. Not that anyone's asked for a reason, but the reason why is because I didn't want well, I've obviously done the videos of the kids, but I didn't want to do a personal blog like I'm not used to do, like a video like this, because I've been going through a divorce, which has only recently been finalised, and during the process of that, I didn't want to do anything that would look like sort of a communication to try to restart things when I know that we've tried God knows how many times and we just can't find a way to make things work. I mean, fundamentally, we don't live in the same house, and she has her reasons why she doesn't want to live with me, but yet she still wants me to stay married to her, and I couldn't take being the bottom of someone's list anymore. I mean, it's far more complicated than that, but it's ultimately a matter of someone wanting you, but only wanting you on their terms. And I couldn't cope with that anymore. You know, so I didn't want to do anything that was perceived as communication to her because I didn't want to make it harder for myself or for her. But now I've got to the point where I realised, you know what? Maybe I was worrying about the wrong thing all that while. I mean, I don't think I did anything wrong. I think it was. I mean, I remember using ChatGPT to speak about it, and they were saying it makes sense what you're doing because ChatGPT was saying to me, it makes sense what you're doing because, you know, you want there to be a certain amount of closure and the end of a chapter before you start kind of a new chapter of making videos again. But then I realized, when is it not communication? Like making a video and making it public is always a form of communication. Just like really making a photo and making it public is communication. I see all of it. Like anything that you make accessible to more than yourself and you're aware of that you're making it accessible, it's always public. It's always communication. It's always a form of communication, whether someone's conscious that they're communicating or not. So I'm fully aware that every video that's available for anyone to see on YouTube is a form of communication. And one could ask, why am I even communicating this? And maybe there are unconscious reasons I'm not aware of. I think in some ways it's like, in some ways part of me feels if anything happened to me, like if I was to die tonight unexpectedly, I would like to know that there's something that people can access if they choose. You know, people that know me, maybe my kids or something, and they can see, okay, they can get a taster of, you know, the type of shit that he went through. Not that that makes everything okay, and that makes everything he's done okay, and that excuses everything, because it doesn't. But they'll know that he was really, as a therapist once said to me once, you know, he used to get me to repeat to him the sentence, you know, I'm just a man doing the best I can in a very difficult situation. And I think I'll never forget that, because that's the truth. That's the core. I am a man doing the best I can in a very difficult situation. And I was then. And that was 3.5 years ago. I finished sessions with him in June. I only had about 11 sessions, and I remember I had the last session in June 2022, and so it's been, you know, 3.5 years basically. But I still remember it. I still remember going to his house, and he was an EMDR therapist, and we didn't so much do that much EMDR in the traditional sense, but we kind of worked through trauma in the best way that he knew how, I knew how. Just, you know, it was a rocky time, because in between one of the sessions we had, in between the sessions I had with him, at the time I was having sessions with him, I did actually attempt suicide. And I think he did everything he could to express concern, but sometimes I think without realizing it, he sort of made me maybe kind of, I don't know, kind of gave me reason to panic. You know, he was on the one hand, at one point he said to me, you know, I'm very concerned about you, because you from the signs you're showing, you appear to be on the verge of possibly on the verge of a psychotic episode. And once he told me that, I think I spiraled further, because I started panicking about having a psychosis. And when I look back on it now, I think he meant well, but there wasn't really a need for him to say that, because I'm very aware of what psychosis is. I think I did experience a little bit of one when my sodium levels were very low, and I had a reaction that caused the low sodium and also caused my brain just to completely malfunction. And I think that was a reaction from fluoxetine, and I realized that could be one of the side effects, and my brain was just doing its own thing and I had no control. And I had sort of this background awareness that I wasn't in control, and it was scary. And I realized, okay, that was kind of a bit of a psychosis, but it wasn't acute. It wasn't. It was kind of a temporary malfunction from the reaction to the meds, and panic, and a heart issue, and low sodium. Mainly, I mean, low sodium in itself, because sodium is very important for brain function, and that's why I'd never go back on fluoxetine. So I mean, but then again, you know, I mean, I was. You know, there potentially I was verging into that kind of territory, in a way, and especially when I then went on sertraline, and you know, and I mean, that's what tipped me over the edge. That's what numbed me out completely, and I was just like, didn't even feel any pain physically anywhere. I had no issue with slicing up my arms and legs. You know, I didn't care. I was ready just to die. You know. So that, and sometimes those, not in the same way, but sometimes a lot of these feelings come back, you know. I don't know if Fee, Starship Texas, good old Fee, I don't know if he still watches my videos anymore. Kind of went out of contact. We went out of contact. I don't know if he's listening to this, but it wasn't because of anything. he'd done anything wrong as such. It was in that I was in such a sensitive state, and still am, that I needed someone to be available. As soon as I said something, I needed them to understand the things I was saying. And I felt, even though he really meant well and he tried so hard to be there for me, like, he didn't get things, in the way that I needed a friend to get things. And maybe that's just me being demanding, but I needed, for me, it does more harm than good if someone is not really there, and getting the things I'm saying. And I just thought, it's across the board for me, with no one really properly listening and really understanding in the way that I need them to. And they may mean well and they can't help it. So, I just kind of decided to cut off. And I suppose making this video now and uploading it is my way of kind of reconnecting, in a sense, with, it's a very small amount of subscribers and even less people that even watch these videos, but even so, it's my way of just trying to reconnect with people in my own way, authentically. And as I said, also, just, it's a few reasons, just that the stuff I'm saying is on record, and of how I was feeling at this particular time, and I can look back on it, and then someone out there may watch it and be like, oh yeah, I sometimes feel a similar way. And sometimes it's not so much what you say, is it? It's like someone can just get your vibe, so to speak. They're like, oh yeah, I know where this guy's coming from, or this woman's coming from, whatever, And I think that's can be a bit of a positive with YouTube, but these are just dark days, for me at the moment, because yeah, there's loneliness. Yeah, there's not feeling good enough. There's often a fantasy of, if I had someone else's life, it would be better, just imagine just always feeling loved, always feeling somebody, always feeling desired, always feeling satisfied with life. Not feeling like, how many times do I feel just sometimes ugly, but deeper than that, not just ugly, but like there's something wrong with me, like there's some reason why I can't seem to make my life work. And I always try to think of reasons why I can't. Fantasize about unlimited power, or unlimited money, or unlimited sex. And then when I sober up from that, I realize that's probably not going to work anyway. It's a little bit more complicated than that. It's really, at the core, it's feeling just deeply hurt by life and by everything I've gone through. Feeling like I got a raw deal. But then I had a dream recently, and I met someone, and they said to me, no, it's not that uncommon what you've been through. A lot of people have been through it. And that made me reflect further on it. And I don't like to view myself as a victim, and I don't think it helps to feel like, oh, poor me, I have the worst deal, because so many people have so many different types of difficult situations, and it's not like a one thing is worse than the other. Everyone copes with things differently. But often when I look around me, and I think, it's not that people have amazing lives and extraordinary lives. It's really just the ordinariness of life, that I kind of envy. It's just like feeling settled within yourself, and in your relationships, you maybe have some friends, you go out, you have fun, you come home, you have a nice meal, you have sex with your partner, you go to sleep, and you do the same thing the next day. with no shame, unapologetically, and you just enjoy your life. And I don't have that. I don't really have any friends. I don't have a partner. I don't have a job. So in many ways there's lots of holes in my life, but it's also just, I feel like there's kind of holes in me. It's like I'm hollow. It's like I'm empty inside, you know. It's like there's not, it's like my default state is a state of misery a lot of the time, and I need to do something. It's like I need to become something else, because by default it's like feeling less than zero, you know. And it's like a resentment. It's almost like, sometimes if I had one wish, it would be to never want anything from anyone, whether it be emotional support or sex or love or any of it, because all it seems to do is cause me suffering, because so rare do I get what I want, and even more rare do I get what I need. So I think, well, it's just a curse. And then I think, certainly when I meditate and I really make a plan and I do it, and probably a lot of people have found this, things are a little bit easier, in the sense that the mind is just more settled. It's less seeking and jumping and proliferating and theorizing, and you're less in your head, and you're more just a sense of awareness, and a sense of awareness of just getting on with what needs to be done, and not overthinking it. But it's funny because it just doesn't seem to last, because then the old patterns just come back, and they'll keep coming back, and they'll keep coming back. And I suppose it's a question of, and I was speaking to Yuta Dharma about this, and he said what you're seeing is non-self, in that you don't have control over it. But I like to have thought that meditation means that if you're doing it right, these spirals hit you less hard, less intensely, and come less frequently. And maybe that's the case. But then sometimes I'm not so sure, because sometimes it seems like things just get darker than ever, you know. And sometimes it's fantasies of violence, you know. Sometimes it's fantasies of revenge. Never actual any real plans, but it's not fun to be so consumed with rage and hatred. But it hasn't come out of nowhere. It's come out of the way that I've been treated so many times by the justice system, by the mental health services, by women, by ex-partners. Almost everyone, really, except my own children and cats. They're the two most emotionally safe categories for me: children and cats. I fucking hope I sleep better tonight. Just, don't know. I think sometimes, it's strange. Sometimes I think I cause my own problems, because I let people drag me down, I talk myself into madness, I think sometimes. I think what I do is a habit of a lifetime, which I've done my whole life, which is I let things build and build and build. I don't be me. I don't act myself. So I pretend I'm okay when I'm not, and I become someone I'm not. And I think I've had to do that to survive. And then what happens is, under the surface, all of those resentments are brewing, and then I snap, and then I spiral. And I think the lesson I'm starting to learn is that to just all the time be unapologetically me, whether people like it or they don't. If they like it, cool. If they don't, fuck them. Because if I try to pretend I'm okay and pretend that I'm okay tolerating endless shit from endless people, including those fucking idiots who are blasting the music, that's why I'm glad I just told them. If I tolerate stuff and tell myself, oh no, it's no big deal, in the end I just snap. And that's why I realize I don't think Buddhism or meditation has anything to do with being passive. I think it's to do with really seeing things exactly as they are, moment to moment. And if something needs to be dealt with, then you fucking deal with it. But you deal with it with some presence, some grace, some fucking dignity. But what you don't do is be like, oh, I'm so spiritual, I'm so passive, nothing's bothering me. It's just going to build up, and then you're going to snap. And then you're going to lose your shit and spiral. And that's what I don't want to do.